Welcome back to the channel. It is day 6 of the 30-day yoga challenge. I am so proud of you for staying committed to your wellness and working on you in this time. I'm also really happy to be a part of this journey with you. This is awesome. Considering that it's day 6 and we've been working our way through this yoga program, we're introducing some new postures. We're going to introduce more postures today. We're going to introduce some new work today in your yoga practice, and we're going to get you moving, maybe even getting you sweating a little bit. Today is, again, the concept is on building strength. So we're going to return to the concept of building strength in our yoga practice. But remember, building strength doesn't mean really challenging and super physically exerting ourselves so that we're, pouring sweat and our bodies are shaking, right? What we're doing is we're building strength over time by learning how to be in our bodies, challenging ourselves, coming up to that edge, and learning what's sustainable for us. I mean, remember, yoga is about this therapeutic way of interacting with your body, and we want that to be sustainable over the long term. Learn where your edges are. Learn how to work those edges rather than pushing yourself into a place where the next day you're going to be super sore. As we go through the practice today, I'm going to invite you to do some postures that might challenge you cardiovascularly. They might challenge you strength-wise. Remember that we're going to scale the practice up. And if you find yourself noticing this impulse to push yourself, notice that and ask yourself, is this what I want to be about right now? Do I want to push myself deeper into this posture? Or do I want to just kind of ease back on some of the tension, take some of the load off of my system? All right, I'm excited for you to get started with this. We're going to begin standing with mountain pose. Now, we've done mountain pose a lot throughout the previous session, so if you need to go back and watch some of those earlier days of the yoga practice, go right ahead. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, or even doubling up, going back and practicing some of the yoga from day 1 or 2 on day 6 before you get this rolling. Let's begin by finding ourselves standing in mountain pose. Remember, use a chair or a wall if you need to balance yourself. The feet are hips width apart. Go ahead, wiggle the toes a little, maybe lift the toes off the ground just to find your footing. Maybe even leaning forward, bringing your weight to the balls of your feet, leaning back, putting some weight into the heels. Standing tall, maybe inhale to press through the crown of your head. Exhale to tuck through your chin. And wherever your arms are, comfortably at your side, maybe using a wall or a chair for balance here, just allow yourself to roll through the shoulders a little, finding some length through the spine, some softness through the shoulders and trapezoids. Maybe even finding some softness through the legs. Maybe there's a slight bend in the knees. Let's just begin this mountain pose by finding a place that's comfortable for you here. And let's go ahead, let's bring the hands together to a prayer position, placing the palms together. Inhale, feeling what it's like to be here. We call this hand position Anjali Mudra, which translates to hands full of energy. Maybe even rubbing your hands together to build up a little bit of warmth, some friction. Then coming to let your hands rest and your body rest. See if you can find some stillness as you breathe. On an inhale, let's reach the arms all the way up, lifting the gaze, maybe even bringing the gaze past the hands. And exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart center. One more time, let's sweep the arms up nice and wide, lifting the gaze up as you raise the arms up on an inhale, bringing the gaze just past the fingers, vision is soft, exhale. Let's hinge at the hips, let's fold all the way forward, nice and slow, allowing the upper body, the torso to just drape over the legs. And if it's comfortable for you, you may wish to grab opposite elbows. Allow some length through the spine, maybe bringing a deeper bend to the knees to take some of that pressure off of the low back. Maybe even just wagging from side to side. We're going to lift up halfway, dropping the hands down. If you're able to use the tips of your fingers, or if your arms are very long like mine, it might be accessible to you today to plant the hands on the ground and to lift the vision up just as you flatten out the spine. If that's not accessible to you, what I would recommend is that you actually take your hands, place them on your shins to lift up halfway, to really put some weight into the hands, lifting up. And without craning the neck, without lifting up too far, just bringing your vision forward. Take one more inhale here, looking forward. The spine is nice and long, flat. Exhale, fold all the way back into yourself, folding forward. Taking a breath here, feeling the breath move through the body. And on your next inhale, we'll come all the way back to standing, but moving slowly. Move with the full length of your inhale to begin to come up, stacking each vertebrae upon vertebrae. And if you have to pause and have an exhale and take another inhale to come all the way back up, that is totally okay. A slow pace is welcome here in this yoga practice. Coming back up, sweeping the arms above the head, inhaling, bringing your vision past the fingertips. The vision is long and soft. Exhale your hands back down to heart center. Maybe even allowing your vision to drop, go out of focus, or even closing the eyes. Inhale to find some length through your spine. Exhale to drop the hands, maybe out of a prayer pose, and just coming back into mountain pose. Maybe the hands at the sides. Maybe you rotate the arms out to let the palms shine out. Take a breath, feel what it's like to be here. We're going to return to a posture in a moment that we did in yesterday's yoga challenge. And that is our triangle pose. So let's find a spot at the wall that's free of any obstructions. So you're going to want to have a chair there, most likely, or a table that you can use for some balance that'll be parallel to the wall, but you want some free space along the wall. Go ahead and stand with your right hip against the wall, having your feet here together or hips width apart. You may even wish to place your right hand on the wall for balance. We'll step the left foot back. And stepping the left foot back far enough that you get some length through the leg. You don't want to have your foot really close where you're turning your pelvis off center and where your knee needs to be bent. You want your leg far enough out where your left leg can be straight, your right leg stays straight. Turning the body out, maybe reaching the right arm along the wall, the left arm behind you along the wall. And as if I was grabbing your right wrist, pulling you forward, you're going to, just like we did in that forward fold, you're going to move from the hips here, only moving the upper body, trying to keep the lower body secure, keeping the legs where they are. And remember, it's okay to bring a bit of a bend into the right knee. And then folding just forward, reaching ever so slightly through the right arm, leaning forward, maybe even placing the hand on the tabletop or on the back of a chair. Maybe it's a little more accessible to you to go a little deeper and you reach down with the left arm still extended and the right hand comes down onto the seat of a chair, into the lower part of the chair. Once you feel comfortable with your weight balanced between your right foot and using your right arm to support you, maybe taking some of the weight out of the right arm, just using it for balance. Experiment with putting more weight into the right foot by lifting the left foot off the ground. And remember, the wall is there to support you. That's why we're doing triangle on the wall. This is only day 6 of our yoga challenge, so if you're noticing yourself losing some balance, you're noticing yourself kind of a little wiggly, just allow there to be space for you to be wiggly, for you to lose your balance. Not hovering the left foot too far off the ground, so you can always drop the left foot back down nice and safely, but using that wall, leaning against the wall for safety. To keep you balanced. And notice any impulses to go deeper, to maybe move the chair out of the way and to bring the right arm all the way down to the shin or closer to the floor. And if that's workable for you, you may wish to explore that today. But we're just getting ourselves warmed up and prepared for a deeper practice. Now, as if I was grabbing you by your left wrist, lifting you up out of this pose, coming back up, bringing the arms up, maybe stepping the feet back together. Go ahead and take a moment here to shake it out. We've done our triangle on the right side, and this time you may wish to move the chair or orient yourself differently, because now we're going to have the left hip against the wall, maybe using the left palm to press against the wall to balance yourself here as you step your right foot back. Right heel comes in alignment with the left heel. And remember, you don't need to step that right foot back a huge distance. You want to do a distance that's comfortable and workable for you. And I hesitate to say 3.5 feet or 4 feet apart because, as we know, all of our bodies are different. I have very long legs and very long arms. You may not have very long legs and very long arms. So your triangle pose here against the wall on your left side might look different from mine, and it most certainly might even look different on your right side than on the left. With the right toes pointed out, maybe bringing the left arm, sweeping it along the wall as you turn your body out to the left. Right arm comes along the wall as well. And as if I was grabbing you by your left wrist, again, maybe bringing a bit of a bend into the left knee, but not too much of a bend. Let's begin to reach to the left, reaching, bringing the hand to the top of the chair, to the back of your chair to balance yourself, maybe lower onto the seat of the chair. If you're able to put weight into that left foot, maybe just using the left hand for balance and popping those right toes off the ground, just experimenting with that. Maybe even the toes just come off the ground for a moment, then you put them right back down. Maybe they just hover a few centimeters or not even an inch off the ground. Find what works for you today. And as if I was grabbing you by your right wrist and just lifting you out of this posture, coming up with your weight back in each foot, stepping your right foot back, go ahead, shake it out. Just noticing what it's like to be in your body here. Come back to your mountain pose, standing with the feet at hips width apart, letting the arms rest. Inhale, press through the crown of your head. Exhale, tuck your chin. The spine is tall but not rigid. Maybe spread wide through the fingers. Maybe lift the toes off the ground. Soften your gaze. Allow your vision to drop, go out of focus. Maybe even your eyes close. Inhale, sweep the arms, lifting the gaze. If your eyes were closed, gently opening your eyes ever so slightly, bringing the vision with a soft focus past the fingers. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold all the way forward, coming into your standing forward fold. And as you fold forward, maybe even lifting those toes off the ground, feeling the weight come into your feet. Bring a bend to the knees. Inhale to press your hands into your shins or the ground if that's accessible to you. Lifting up halfway with a nice flat spine. Don't careen through the neck, just lift the gaze a little bit as you lift the neck. Exhale, fold all the way back down. On your next inhale, and I mean this, take your time. Take that full length of your inhale to come back up to standing. And if your inhale isn't deep enough and you're like, Tim, I didn't make it to standing with an inhale, that's cool. Pause, exhale. Inhale, come all the way back up. When you find yourself standing back in mountain pose, we're going to step the left foot back so that roughly the left heel is in alignment with the right heel. Left toes pointed forward and a little bit of a distance between the right foot and the left foot. We're going to Sweep the arms up above the head, bringing a bend into the right knee as we come into our warrior one. If you need to take a look down at that right knee and make sure that your right knee is bent and stacked over top of your right ankle, go ahead, take the time to do that. And noticing where you're able to place your arms here comfortably. And maybe even test your assumption about what is comfortable. Try to go a little bit too far. Let's start by opening our arms all the way out, almost like you're holding a gigantic novelty beach ball at one of those, Daytona Beach outdoor concerts. Maybe spread through the fingers. Now let's bring our hands in together. Closer, closer, and then notice where there starts to be a little bit of tension, where the mobility gets a little bit sticky. And wherever it starts to stick, maybe right where your hands come together. Or maybe well before then, come back to that point right where you start to feel that little bit of tension, that little bit of resistance in the muscles and the shoulders. Come right back to that point where you feel the tension. Ease off a little bit. So for me today, having my arms a little bit wider apart than usual actually is feeling right for me today. Maybe there's some tightness going on in my shoulders that's influencing that. But this posture right here is feeling right for me. Inhale, reach through your fingers. The vision is past the fingers, but soft. Exhale, lower the arms and draw the left hand across the right arm, almost like you're pulling the string of a bow, drawing a bow nice and wide. The arm comes across the body, extending out to the left and moving the left foot ever so slightly, just stepping it out into your warrior two. Becoming aware of the space between your neck and your shoulders, maybe softening those muscles. Allowing the shoulders to drop away from the ears. No need to pull them down, just soften through those muscles. And as if someone was grabbing on your right wrist and your left wrist, really reach through your arms, spread through the fingers, reach the fingers forward. The gaze is soft past the right fingers. And from here, we're going to do a similar action that we did with our triangle pose. So here I'm going to invite you to, almost like you're being pulled on your right wrist, lean forward. And if your right arm comes down and you use your hand to balance yourself on your right knee, still with the knee bent, stacked over the right ankle, that's great. Otherwise, you may wish to maybe bend that right arm and place the right elbow right over top of the right knee. And just notice what's accessible to you with your left arm. So as I'm here in this pose, just holding it for a bit, I'm starting to notice some of the blood draining from my left arm. I'm going to lift my arm up a little higher into this posture. Maybe bring your gaze over to the left. And if you start to notice yourself collapsing through your right side body, maybe take a little bit of weight off of that right arm, lifting out a little bit. And if you can't tell if you're collapsing through the right side body, go ahead, go all in. Just let your body kind of flop to the right. And then put a little bit of weight into that right arm, lifting your torso up. Maybe finding some length through your spine. See if you can tell the difference between the collapsing in the right side body and being a little bit more engaged through the spine. Really encouraging that musculature to keep your body strong and supported here. And if you're starting to shake, remember, you're not getting stronger. That's your body fatiguing, saying, hey, this is not sustainable. As if you're being grabbed by that left wrist, pull yourself up out of this posture back into warrior two. The gaze goes past the right fingers, soft vision. Inhale, sweep the arms forward into your warrior one. Maybe pointing those toes forward a little, almost as if you're reaching forward. Still with that nice bend in the right knee stacked over the right ankle. Let's inhale, reach a little higher. Exhale, let's step the hands forward. Step the feet forward. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold all the way forward. Take a nice deep inhale here. Nice long exhale, let it out. Really let the sound of your exhale out. Go ahead, do another one. Inhale, nice and deep. Breathe all the way in. Feel the breath enter your body. And a nice loud audible exhale. Almost like that annoying character, the boyfriend that Elaine had on Seinfeld. She said, his annoying quality is every time he takes a sip of tea or coffee, there's a at the end. Let's take one more inhale. Breathe in. Nice loud audible exhale at the end there. Nice. Inhale, reach up halfway. Maybe the palms come to the shins, maybe to the floor if that's accessible. Looking forward. Nice flat spine. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, reach the arms up, come all the way back up. Take the full length of your exhale. If you need more time, take it. Exhale your hands back down to heart center. Take a breath there. Feel what it's like to be in your body. When you're ready, dropping the hands down, coming back into your mountain pose. Checking in with your feet that they're hips width apart. Maybe your toes are ever so slightly pointed in. We did the left leg stepping back last time, so this time we're going to step our right leg back to step into our warrior one. So step that right foot back and check your feet out. Let's try to have the right heel lined up with the left heel. Right toes pointed forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Whatever's accessible to you. Maybe your arms are just parallel to the ground. Maybe they're a little higher. Bend a little through that left knee, stacking the left knee over the left ankle. Taking the arms wide as if you're holding a giant novelty beach ball. Spread through the fingers, really energizing the hands and the arms. Inhale, really reach through those arms. Exhale, bring your arms together and start to notice what's workable for you, where you start to find a sticking point. So this time, on my left side, I'm noticing my hands can come a lot closer together without me finding that sticking point. Maybe I just needed a little warm up today. Just allowing your hands to rest wherever they are, bringing your vision past the fingers nice and soft. Balancing your weight between the left leg and the right leg. Check in with your toes, maybe even spreading the toes here. Exhale, dropping the arms parallel to the ground. The right arm comes past the left arm, almost as if you're drawing the string of a bow, opening up into your warrior two. Left hand reaches forward, stretching through those fingers. The right foot, remember to step back just a little bit, opening up that right foot about 60 degrees. So now the instep of your right foot is pointing towards the heel. And almost as if someone's grabbing each wrist, really reaching through each arm, finding some length. Inhale to reach. Exhale to find some softness. See if you can let some of that tension around the shoulders, around the neck, around the trapezoids go. Your shoulders are not responsible for you getting into a deeper warrior two here. Check in with that bend of the left knee, having the left knee stacked over the left ankle. And as if you were being pulled by the left wrist, just reaching forward, just like in our triangle pose. And whatever works for you. Maybe the left hand comes all the way down to the left leg, and you can use the left leg for some balance. Maybe just to the left knee today. Maybe you bend the arm and the left elbow comes to the left knee, just stacking your arm over top of that leg, and then reaching the right arm up, bringing your vision past the fingers. Breathing here. Noticing how this posture feels in this moment. What sensations you feel in your body. And as if you're being pulled on through that right wrist, coming back up into your warrior two. Reaching through the arms. Inhale, sweep that right arm forward, coming back into your warrior one, really pointing through the fingers, wherever your arms rest, whatever works for you. Pointing those right toes forward, reaching forward. Inhale to reach a little deeper into the posture, reach a little higher. Exhale, lower those arms, step back up into your mountain pose. Hinge at the hips, fold all the way forward. Take a moment here to have a breath on purpose, breathing in. Exhale to let out an audible sigh. Noticing the length through your spine. Noticing the breath moving in your body. On your next inhale, pressing the hands into the shins or down onto the ground, lifting up halfway, flattening out through the spine, bringing the gaze forward. Exhale, fold all the way forward. This time, when we inhale, we're going to reach the arms all the way out, lifting up, bring a bend to the knees. We're going to come into our chair pose here. Remembering that chair pose is not about how deep you can get into the pose, but how we can make it sustainable for you. So keeping a bend in those knees and really allowing yourself to lower down, almost as if you're sitting on a chair, but really challenging your body here. And if it's accessible to you, you may wish to keep your hands up high, maybe experiment with lowering them a little bit if this is a little too challenging. Maybe your arms come parallel to the ground. Maybe even lowering your arms even a little lower than that. Just taking some of the load off your system. Maybe experimenting here with bringing a deeper bend into the knees, lowering down onto that, almost as if you're sitting on a slightly smaller, lower, more visible chair. And experimenting with lifting the arms back up, experimenting with how wide the arms are. See what works for you today. And when you find your edge, when you find the point where this pose no longer becomes sustainable, dial it back. Maybe don't go as deep. Maybe stand up a little taller. Maybe lower the arms. Whatever you need to take care of you. Notice that. One more inhale, reach the hands forward, really pressing through the fingers, maybe spreading the fingers wide wherever your hands are. Inhale, exhale, standing up, hinging at the hips, folding all the way forward. We're going to take our last standing forward fold of the day here. Maybe grab opposite elbows. You worked hard. Maybe wagging back and forth a little. Letting the arms go long. Inhale, reach up halfway, maybe pressing the hands into the shins, looking forward. And this time, as we exhale, let's bring your hands down onto the ground, spreading wide through the fingers. We really want to protect the wrists here. Pressing the hands down into the ground. With the fingers spread wide, let's bend nice and deep through the knees so you can get your hands planted flat onto the ground. And gently beginning to step the feet back, maybe tiptoeing, or maybe taking slightly larger steps, but don't go too far. Stepping the feet back so that your feet are planted on the ground, and your heels don't need to be touching the ground, but we also don't want you up on your tippy toes. So the balls of your feet here are planted into the ground. Your toes are on the ground as you step back, but your heels don't necessarily need to be touching the ground. The hands are planted both on the ground, fingers spread to protect your wrists, and still with a nice deep bend in the knees here, taking on our first downward facing dog of the yoga challenge. Maybe pedal through your heels. Maybe bending through alternate knees, really exaggerating that bend, wagging the hips back and forth. Even experimenting here with the musculature of your arms, maybe even rolling the arms so that the eyes of the elbows face out, and then experimenting with how it affects your shoulders when you roll the arms back in. But we don't need to have a static downward dog here. We're just experimenting with down dog, bringing some motion into your body. breathing here, slowing your downward facing dog down, noticing what it's like to be in this posture. When it's comfortable for you, you may wish to come back up to standing. You may wish to come back up to standing in order to make your way down to be into a seated posture. Or you might want to experiment here with stepping your feet back forward, still with a nice deep bend in the spine, and then from there, making your way down to be seated on the ground. For this final posture, I'm going to encourage you to use some form of props. You may wish to use a couple pillows. You may wish to use a towel or a blanket that's rolled up. The reason why we're going to roll this up is because we're going to run this parallel to your spine to support your back. We're going to take on a fish pose here, but a supported fish pose specifically. So go ahead and find yourself sitting down. You may wish to move your flesh of your butt cheeks away from your sit bones so you can get a flatter seat on the ground. You can have your legs crossed here if that works for you. And butting up your rolled up towel or your pillows right up against where your body makes contact with the ground. And gently beginning to lean back, use your elbows for support as you lean back, and find yourself laying supine, but with this rolled up towel or these pillows positioned in such a way that they can support your spine. And you want this to be long enough that it extends all the way from the bottom of your spine, making its way up to your shoulders, but you want to allow your head to fall loose so that you can get some length through your neck and also begin to rest your head on the ground. Whatever posture works for you with your arms. Maybe your arms are along the side of your body. Maybe you're using your elbows for some support and balance here. Or maybe you just rest your hands over your belly. Let's relax into this final supported back bend, this supported fish pose. Notice your breath. Thank you for your time and commitment in doing this practice. I'm going to bring my hands to heart center. Bowing, bringing my thumbs between the eyebrows, the third eye, so to speak, and share this final word with you. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video series with your friends, your colleagues. You never know who's going to benefit from this 30-day yoga challenge in your world. Thanks so much, and I'm excited to see you for day 7 as we continue this journey together.